superstar. Flyers, legends, and a million cars. It's something like y'all for the superstar. Flyers, legends, and a million cars. It's something like y'all for the superstar. Flyers, legends, and a million cars. It's something like y'all for the superstar. Flyers, legends, and a million cars.
Suspension fork, I want to tighten everything down again and use thread locker because I'm starting to have some vibrations. So I'm just going to put some thread locker on here, torque everything down, and see if I should have any more issues. Issues with the vibrations that I'm having. So I'll just re-tighten everything down. Just torque everything down, use thread locker, and that's exactly what I did. So once I took everything off, I ended up using WD-40 to clean everything, and then I just put everything back in. I hand tighten it, and then I just use thread locker, and I torqued everything down. You can see here, and everything in here is practically marked, and I ended up torquing everything down on here and using thread locker. As you can see, everything is marked. Same goes for the other side. And the plan that I have with this car, it's a street build. But for now, I definitely, I always go by suspension first and performance after. I have my system in here. I am a DJ, so I like to have my tunes, but I think I'm gonna take it off because I do feel the difference with the weight. And, you know, I kind of enjoyed the car better when I didn't have like no rear seats or a speaker box in there. But I think I'll leave it in for now. So yeah, that's that definitely helps. And this is everything that I've used for the project. Definitely got to go to Harbor Freight and get this box here, the cotter pin box. It definitely works out a lot. And then ended up using the blue thread locker for most of the suspension parts. And I brought this, the anti-seize. You can't use both. You can't use the anti-seize and a thread locker. It's one of the two. But I'm really liking this bed liner spray. This is my new project that I'm working on. I'm going to remove the factory carpet out of my car. I'm going to pressure wash it, clean anything that's left under this carpet. And then I'm gonna spray the carpet down with some fabric spray paint. As for now, I'm starting on removing my whole center console. And I'm gonna rewire my radio. And having some issues with the harness that was on there before. Previous owner ended up cutting the stock harness coming out of the car. I ended up having this harness here from a donor 4-door GSR that I brought years ago, and I hooked it up here, but I didn't solder it or anything. I just put tape on there. Check this out. I ended up getting a solder seal wire connector. I like using this right here. It works really well. Once you heat up the middle part, it all melts into the wire. It's a waterproof seal. This is very good to have. Needed some zip ties, and I got some cleaning stuff here that I wanted to use once I pulled this carpet out, just to kind of clean around. I got the radio harness soldered in with the aftermarket harness. All right, so we back. I came back from the Honda dealer, and I brought my new climate control bulbs. Integra takes 4 climate control bulbs. 2 on there and 2 at the bottom. And this is the Integra Type R climate control. So I'm going to install these new bulbs here, and then we'll get to the part where I was telling you that this is the best way to actually install these climate controls on Integras. So I put the big zip tie at the end, and then this whole zip tie will hold it down once it's in the car back on the dash. See, that's the way I do it. I figure it can probably help any other Integra owners, because the tabs always break in the dashboard. Alright, so we got the climate control inside of the car. I ran the zip tie in between that inside part of the dash. So once I actually put the climate control in, I can pull it down at the bottom, and then I can tie it onto like the interior frame of the car. See? So once I get the climate control in there with the zip ties, look how nice and flush it is. See what I did here? I tightened it up. Ran the zip tie all the way down, put the other zip tie. Alright, so I started pulling the carpet out. As you can see here, I got a lot of the carpet out already. And one thing I wanted to shout out is this rigid impact gun is no joke, man. This is an awesome tool to have. Very, very strong too. So, just gotta take out the seat belt. I already did the other side. Then I gotta take the seat off, and then we'll be able to pull the whole carpet off. I think it's a 12. Oops. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we'll be able to take out the seat, and then we can take out this nasty carpet. All right, so I took all of these little plastic moldings off. Took another plastic molding that's in the back down there. The center console. I think the carpet is ready to be removed. Alright, so this is the finished job with the carpet spraying that we was doing. As you can see, everything is put back in. Huge difference compared to how dirty the carpet was before. We brushed the carpet fibers this way, we sprayed it, then brushed the carpet fibers the other way, and then sprayed it the other way. Came out really well. So I ended up buying these floor mats from Walmart, but they're the light ones, because you know a lot of times these floor mats are pretty heavy. So just got those in there. Trying to zoom in on the carpet fibers, but really big difference. Ended up putting the whole center console back in. We installed the bulbs on the Integra Type R climate control, put that back in there with the zip ties, and everything is so flush now and it doesn't even move. The radio sounds great. And yeah, that's everything we did for now for the interior. Just trying to keep the interior as stock as possible. These are actually the GSR confetti seats for a 94 and 95, so I didn't do too much on the interior here. The door panels are in pretty good condition too. The only thing I did change was the middle console. That was from a 4-door donor GSR I had a few years ago. So this was a beige color, and I ended up using that interior part spray paint and just sprayed it black, and it came out perfect. Alright, so we at the garage, we got the car on, so don't mind the noise of the car, but ended up going to Tri-State Motorsports and ended up picking up some torque mounts for the car. And the good thing I like about the Hasport torque mounts that they come with all of the hardware that you need. And I wanted to shout out Hasport for having such an amazing product. In my opinion, they're the top of the line in motor mounts and brackets for any swap that you're trying to do for a Honda. So one torque mount, got the other torque mount next to it. Alright, so here we have the Skunk 2 Racing intake manifold for a B Series GSR Integra. Wanted to get the red one with the wrinkle red, but didn't have it at the time, and I always liked that polished one. I had this intake manifold before on a different setup with another car. It was on a B20 VTEC, so really good. So we'll get this. I got some other parts coming through the mail, some fuel rail, injectors, fuel regulator, and little by little get all of these parts together and just eventually put them all in. All right, everyone, we're back at the garage. Got a few things I wanted to show you. Got some goodies in this box, and I put a few things away. So here we have a Integra Type R throttle body cable. You need this cable here to actually run the aftermarket Skunk 2 intake manifold, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And we have the bracket too that goes right on the Skunk 2 intake manifold. So here we have the Skunk 2 intake manifold thermal gasket. This is part number if you guys need it. And then we have the Skunk 2 throttle body gasket. And it's a thermal gasket as well. There's a part number if that would help. Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. So it's a thermal gasket for a B Series, 68 millimeter. So on this setup that I'm going to do on the Integra GSR, I'm actually going to run a Civic Type R throttle body. I'm going to work with that for now and see how it goes with the next project that I'm going to do with the engine in here. And then in here I have another P72 ECU that I want to get chipped with the Honda. And I still want to keep the stock ECU that's in my car so that I always just have like a stock ECU if I ever need it. It's a Class D Pioneer Premier amplifier. So it sounds really well. I'm a DJ, so I definitely had to get my tunes in here. I know a lot of people ask me like, oh, why would you put a box in a car audio system in your car? It's going to add a lot of weight, but I just really love my sounds, you know. I want to paint this carpet next, but I'm going to save that for another project. But that's how the old carpet in the Integra looked like, and this is like the after. So that's a really big difference. I don't know if you can see it on the lighting here, but it's a really big difference. And even with like detail stuff, I kind of like sprayed like, you know, the screws on the seats just to kind of give it a little more fresher look. But yeah, sounds really good.
We be the infamous. I got you stuck off the realness. We We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. The mob comes equipped for warfare. Beware of my crime family who got enough shots to share for all those who wanna profile and pose. Rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. You all alone in these streets, cousin. Every man for themself in this land, we be gunning. And keep them shook crews running like they supposed to. They come around, but they never come close to. I can see it inside your face, you're in the wrong place. Cowards like you just get their whole body laced up with bullet holes and such. Speak the wrong words, man, and you will get touched. You could put your whole army against my team. I guarantee you it'll be your very last time breathing. Your simple words just don't move me. You're minor, you're major, you're all up in the game and don't deserve to be a player. Don't make me have to call your name out. Your crew is featherweight. My gunshots will make you levitate. I'm only 19, but my mind is old. And when the things get for real, my warm heart turns cold. Another nigga deceased, another story is told. It ain't nothing really. And yo, done sparked the Philly, so I can get my mind off these yellow back niggas. While they still alive, I don't know, go figure. Meanwhile, back in Queens, the realness and foundation. If I die, I couldn't choose a better location.